Hello children, how are you? Fine? So in my previous classes we have discussed detail about vegetative propagation. We have discussed detail about different mode of asexual reproduction in animal. Now today I will be taking up the most lengthy, slow and complicated process of reproduction, that is sexual reproduction. Before I go in detail about the process and steps of sexual mode of reproduction, let me be very specific. Why it is called sexual mode of reproduction and what is the basic difference of this mode of reproduction from that of vegetative propagation or asexual mode of reproduction. In asexual mode of reproduction, you have seen the new individual produced from a single parent where there is no formation of gamete. But the most fundamental character of sexual reproduction, both in case of plant as well as in case of animal, is here the formation of male and female gamete is must. So formation of male gamete and female gamete. This is must in order to complete the process of sexual reproduction. The male gamete, what you commonly call sperm or antherozoid, in case of female gametes, so sperm or antherozoid, female gamete, ovum, or better to say egg. Or ovum, male gamete, sperm or antherozoid, female gamete, egg or ovum. These two gamete, male gamete and female gamete, can be produced from the two different individual. If it is produced from the two different individual organisms, the sperm so produced from the male individual or the male parent, and the egg or the ovum so produced from the female individual or the female parent. In certain cases, the male and female gamete may be produced from the same individual, whatever may be the case, either produced by two different individuals or from the same individual, but the production or the formation of male and female gamete is the most essential feature of sexual reproduction, because it is these two gamete has to meet with each other, we shall discuss in detail after some time, to undergo the formation of zygote and it starts the formation of the new generation. So here the individual produced by the process of sexual reproduction is not identical to their parent, or the individuals so produced from a set of parent, male and female, the individuals are not identical to each other, which is very different from that of vegetative propagation or asexual mode of reproduction, where we have seen the individual produced not only similar to their parent, but they are similar with each other morphologically and genetically. But here is the difference. Now, before we discuss the fertilization, post-fertilization changes, let us see the two gamete, male and female, produced from the two different individual or from the same individual. They may be different in appearance or they may be almost similar in appearance. If they are similar in appearance, as we see in the case of lower plants, say algae, say certain bryophytes, or in case of fungi, this, say for example, let me take an example of an algae, Cladospora, where the male gamete and female gamete is very difficult to separate. They are looking almost identical. They are looking almost identical. They are looking almost identical. In case of human being, say for example, the male gamete is otherwise called sperm, is looking like this. The female gamete, ovum, entirely different from sperm. So here in this case where the male and female gamete both look similar or identical, that is called, this process of formation of gamete we call and these gametes are called isogamete. So this is iso and this type is called isogamy. Isogamy, or otherwise called homogamy. Here it is different. So another term we use, anisogamy. So identical gamete, male and female gamete appears to be same. This is the case of isogamy. And the gametes are isogamete, whereas different in appearance, anisogamy or anisogamete, where male gamete or sperm is entirely different from the ovum or egg, or that is female gamete. Now, in the case of either plant or animal, whoever is undergoing sexual reproduction, before they attain the process of sexual reproduction, they require certain stage of maturity. Directly after birth, they cannot undergo sexual mode of reproduction. This period throughout which they undergo the maturity. How they undergo maturity? By means of cell division and cell growth, cell maturation. Their cell will be growing further and they will grow and mature. This period of growth and maturation, what we call it as in case of animal, juvenile phase. In case of plant, we call vegetative phase. Say for example, let me show you the clipping. Here you see, before the attainment of before the reaching of reproductive phase, when the plant, after germination, the seedlings are coming up, further growing, growth and maturation, and fully mature. Now it is ready for undergoing the process of reproduction or reproductive phase. Here you see, still in juvenile phase, not yet undergoing the reproductive phase, but almost completing the juvenile phase, about to reach the reproductive phase. So before they attain the reproductive phase, certain stages of growth and maturation is required. This stage of growth and maturation in the case of plant before attainment of the process of reproduction, before reaching the process of reproduction, before undertaking the process of reproduction. This phase of growth and maturation, what we call it, pre-reproductive phase. This pre-reproductive phase, in case of plant, we have given a name called vegetative phase. In case of animal, I will show you the clippings. See here, the baby monkey we have taken and the mature one. So this, before this monkey attain the reproductive phase, it has to grow and mature. Here the kid, it is in juvenile phase, it will grow more and more and more and more, and then after certain stage of life, say on an average in case of male of human being, say around 12 to 14 years, then only one can attain the phase of reproduction. So this is the juvenile phase. This is the juvenile phase before reaching the maturity for reproduction. So there is a clear-cut distinction of these two phases. Now, this phase of distinctive juvenile and reproductive phase sometimes can be markedly seen. Say for example, in case of paddy or wheat, the what you call as annual plants or even biennial plant, there is a clear-cut division. After certain growth, then only they will attain the flowering. So flowering is the reproductive phase. I will show you the clipping here. See here, the plants are matured and now it is getting flower. That means it has already attained to the reproductive phase. Here the bryophytes are undergoing the formation of antheriospore or archegoniospore, that is the reproductive phase, where it will undergo the gametophytic stage. So before that sporophytic stage, this part where they undergo division, cell growth, cell maturity, and then it attains the gametophytic stage, the stage of reproduction. Here up to this, the vegetative or juvenile phase. In plant we use vegetative phase, and then after completion of the vegetative phase, that is at the end of vegetative phase. Vegetative phase, ending of vegetative phase is the demarcation for reaching the reproductive phase. The flower is the reproductive part of this plant here. So I will show you in case of animal, human being, the sperm and the ovum are produced after attainment of this reproductive, the juvenile maturity. Now, during reproductive phase, when animal attain the reproductive phase, in case of animal we are talking now, the animal, especially if we take the example of mammals like cattle here, or in case of human being, whatever may be the case, see, the primates including cattle, that is cow, dog, buffalo, the placental mammals. Here, the placental mammals can be a primate or a non-primate. So in the case of these cattle, cow, dog, buffalo, here when they attain the reproductive phase, there is a cyclic change in the events taking place during the process of their reproduction. This cyclic change induced by the change within the ovary, the change within the accessory reproductive duct, the reproductive glands, and the changes within the hormone produced from the glands, which initiate a cyclic change. This cyclic change, which is taking place in case of non-primate mammals, as you see here, cattle, is called an ostrich cycle. stress cycle. Stress cycle. In case of primate mammals, placental mammals, say for example in case of human being, the cyclic event changes within the body of a female during the reproductive phases, which continue throughout their reproductive life. Once a human female attain the reproductive phase, up to that reproductive period of their life, cyclic event takes place, which is a 28 days repeated cycle. In case of human female, where there is a change within the ovary, there is a change within the hormones, there is a change within the uterus endometrial wall. This cyclic change, what you call as menstrual cycle. As we see in my video clipping here, there is a change in the endometrial wall. Cyclic event, breakage of endometrial wall, then further rejuvenation. Then there is a cyclic change in the ovarian hormone, and there is a cyclic change in the luteinizing hormone and FSH follicle stimulating hormone. There is a change in the ovarian cycle in terms of the primordial follicle, primary follicle getting matured at the middle or almost 14th day. It is becoming a fully mature follicle, what you call a Graafian follicle. The Graafian follicle ruptures, ovulation takes place. Graafian follicle after ruptures getting converted into corpus luteum, and further changes takes place. So this cyclic change within a human female during the reproductive phase is called as menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle, as we see here. So this change, why this change are? This change promotes the further event what will be taking place during the reproductive phase. What is the event? The events are the formation of male and female gamete. In case of this, I have shown you formation of female gamete or egg. In case of male, there is a lot of change during reproductive phases, which initiates the formation of male gamete. In case of plant also, there is a lot of changes taking place and a lot of events taking place during the process of reproductive phase. Now, if we go to a little elaborate form, in case of plant, the higher plant, the male and female reproductive part can be present in the body of same plant or of different plant. Monoecious, dioecious, the terminology we use here, or homothalous, heterothalous, the terminology we use here to distinguish whether they produce both male and female flower in the same plant or of different plant. Sometimes the plant which is unisexual, the flower having either male part stamen or female part pistil. If the flower having only stamen, that is male part, that flower is called staminate. If it is having only female part, then it is called pistillate. Anyway, in case of plant, when during the juvenile phase they undergo maximum of maturity and end of this juvenile phase mark the reproductive phase. During reproductive phase the flowering takes place, and within the flower, if it is a bisexual flower, the male and female parts both present, or unisexual flower, whatever is the case, the male part will produce the pollen grain which further matures to form the male gamete. The female part which having egg, within the egg the ovule, where a lot of event sequentially taking place to form the egg and polar nuclei, and further the fertilization and the post-fertilizational changes will take place within the plant. This I will take up in my next session. By that time, what we have discussed is the phases of reproductive life, that is juvenile or vegetative phase and the reproductive phase, and after that the post-reproductive changes will be taking place. In juvenile phases certain events are taking place, in reproductive phases certain events are taking place. The reproductive events in the case of non-primate mammals, the cyclic changes what is taking place, what we call a ostrich cycle. In case of primate mammals, say for example human being, the cyclic event taking place. In female, called as menstrual cycle, where there is a lot of change within the ovary, there is a lot of change within the hormones which initiate the production of female gamete, which helps for the process of reproduction. By that time, you just try to distinguish what is reproduction, sexual mode of reproduction, what is the basic difference, and what is asexual mode of reproduction. One thing be very clear, during sexual reproduction, gamete formation is must. And the gamete contain haploid set of chromosomes. Haploid means single basic set. Single basic set. That means n number of chromosomes. That means n number of chromosomes. And parent from that specific cell where from the gametes are produced, say for example in case of human being, this gamete mother cell, otherwise called myocytes, or gamete mother cell are diploid to end. So how from the diploid the haploid gamete will be produced? By the process of cell division, and that cell division is called meiosis. So by means of meiosis, from the gamete mother cell, otherwise called myocytes, gamete mother cell, otherwise called myocytes, which is 12 in number, by means of meiotic division, n number of, that is the gamete will be produced. So this gamete, male and female, during fertilization will fuse to form the zygote, which again become a diploid. So this is very clear to you. You could easily guess what is the basic difference between the sexual mode of reproduction and vegetative propagation or asexual mode of reproduction. Why in vegetative or asexual mode of reproduction it is called clone, the individuals are produced, but here it is not, because they are distinct from each other. Two gametes from two different parents met to form the individual. By that time, thank you. Let me meet in the next class. Bye.